Donald Trump is having a very bad 24 hours. And I want to walk through a couple of these things because while Donald Trump has to contend with, for example, the economy slowing down, his poll numbers not doing well, the government shutdown being widely blamed on Republicans, most polling is showing, he already has to deal with that day to day and his clear cognitive decline. He goes out and just like, he doesn't even try to spin anything anymore. It's just all just lies. Hey, inflation is gone. It's zero. I crushed it. It's like, well, no, inflation is rising. He has to contend with all of that while contending with this, the fact that he's losing over and over and over again in court, and Democrats are crushing him. Let's walk through a couple of these things and the fact that a Trump-appointed judge eviscerated this man today. Eviscerated Donald Trump, which MAGA is having a hard time understanding. All right, let's walk through a couple things. This is the press conference from J.B. Pritzker today. The state is suing the Trump administration because they're trying to send the National Guard here. And J.B. Pritzker does something that I think is so important, and I rarely hear Democrats talk about. I think this was really well said. Take a listen.
There's been zero accountability or transparency from ICE or the administration. Last week, federal agents dressed in camouflage gear conducted a military-style raid on an apartment building in South Shore, a neighborhood of Chicago. They brought Black Hawk military helicopters and more than 100 agents in full tactical gear. Even though it was supposedly a very dangerous and important mission, they brought dozens of cameras and set them up so that they could film their attack on the building in HD for social media. See for yourself.
Yeah, I think it's so important that J.B. Pritzker said this because we're going to get into in a second the fact that, there were obviously children sleeping at this apartment complex in Chicago on a Tuesday night in the middle of the night, really Tuesday morning, like 2 a.m, right? Children were screaming and crying. Some of them were not clothed and zip-tied, handcuffed and taken outside. And they're doing this. Why? Why are they doing this? Because Donald Trump wants to just, flex his authoritarian wings. Because it's all about Trump and gaining power. It has nothing to do with the safety of people. And this is a really great angle to take because it proves it so quickly. If this is about safety and there's all these dangerous criminals running around that the state of Chicago won't deal with, so ICE has to deal with them or something, why are there dozens of camera crews filming the whole thing? Because it's all a show. It's all a show. So well said from Governor Pritzker. And just, again, in the last 24 hours, Governor Pritzker had this presser, but also on the Portland, Oregon side of things, Donald Trump keeps losing. A federal judge blocked President Trump's effort to deploy National Guard troops to Portland in a late-night decision, ruling it unlawful and unconstitutional. I like this because it's from Fox News. I think it's hilarious that they don't want to mention that this judge was appointed by Trump. Now, judges, our judicial branch, should just be nonpartisan, but if they're going to continue to play this game that we see, Fox News and Republicans saying, oh, a Democrat, liberal appointed XYZ did this and blah, blah, blah. Interesting how when a judge was appointed by Trump and says what you're doing is unconstitutional and ridiculous, they just want to, just keep it like this. We don't have to mention who the judge was appointed by. And the thing is, this happened twice, right? Twice today. The same U.S. District Judge, I believe Karen Immergut, appointed by Trump, has issued a temporary restraining order blocking the administration's attempt to deploy 200 Oregon National Guard soldiers to Portland, a Trump appointee. She called it executive overreach. And so she ruled that that was executive overreach unconstitutional and then blocked Trump from trying to send troops, the National Guard troops from California, the National Guard of California, to Portland. So Donald Trump just throwing everything at the wall here and getting denied. A U.S. federal judge has temporarily blocked President Donald Trump's administration from deploying National Guard troops from Texas and California to Portland, Oregon. And if we scroll down here, the ruling on Sunday from U.S. District Judge Karen Immergut. So the same judge saying twice, appointed by Trump, this is ridiculous. And listen to CNN really hammer and grill Stephen Miller on this exact thing. I mean, it's so beautifully said. This is actual journalism and reporting, in my opinion, when you don't just let people speak how they, just lie all over the air. You actually say, look, this is the set of facts we're working with. Can you, be more direct, answer the questions? Look at Stephen Miller while this video plays.
You make the claim of terrorist assaults and violence attack over 100 nights, and yet the judge overseeing this case says that that's untethered from reality. And local officials on the ground say that Trump's assertion of what's happening in Portland, that it's war-ravaged and burning to the ground, is far from true. I looked at the police data, and police have made something like 70 total arrests since June. And there are no reports of buildings being burned to the ground. The White House cited a guillotine being rolled out as like a public display of rebellion. But there isn't actually a threat that these demonstrators are going to overthrow the government. Are you concerned that that response weakens your legal argument?
No, they are actually, as we speak, trying to overthrow the core law enforcement function of the federal government. Boris, this is, I think, where we're talking past each other. When ICE officers have to street battle against Antifa, hand-to-hand combat every night to come and go from their building, when they try to exit in a vehicle, when they are swarmed and surrounded and they try to tip the vehicle over, when people bring weapons to an ICE facility to try to engage in direct violent assault against ICE officers, what is the purpose? It is to prevent Immigration and Customs Enforcement from carrying out the mission the American people elected them to do. Their objective is to make it impossible for ICE to carry out ICE enforcement.
So again, like Stephen Miller here just really not answering the question. The question was very direct. Hey, the claims that you have made in court, which are everything he just laid out practically, everything he just laid out is what they're saying in court, that like they can't, ICE can't do their job, or these federal agencies / buildings need protected because it's war ravaged. And again, a Trump-appointed judge saying this is untethered from reality. What you're saying right now is not happening. And he just repeats that it's happening. Well, this is my argument. Stephen Miller is like actual real world, like a supervillain, like Voldemort. I swear to God, this guy's like he's running so much more than we currently know about, and he's just so good at lying through his teeth, and he knows he's doing it. It's truly disgraceful. The Gavin Newsom team here pointing out that the video I just showed you, Stephen Miller is making things up again. A federal judge said it best when rejecting Trump's illegal guard deployment. Quote, the president's determination was simply untethered to the facts. They lose and they lose and they lose over and over and over again. And I'm glad that people are starting to point it out that our judicial system is still holding strong. But it's scary and dangerous to see how willing people like Stephen Miller and people in the administration are to say this is judicial overreach, this is essentially judicial tyranny, that these leftist Democrat judges are need to be removed, impeached, they're not impartial. That's really dangerous, right? Let's just give the executive branch all the authority to do anything they want. That's fascism. That's authoritarianism. It's here. They just feel like Trump should have the authority to do anything. And before I end this video off, again, J.B. Pritzker making a really good point here that I want to tie into a video that's going super viral right now on the internet of James Talarico. If you know James Talarico, he's running as a Democrat in Texas, and he's very religious himself. And he points out so well why the individuals who claim to be so religious at the top, Trump and Stephen Miller and all these people who say we're bringing this Christian nation back, are full of shit. So watch this, and I'll show you the James Talarico clip because it's so good.
Imagine being a child awakened in the middle of the night by a Black Hawk helicopter landing on your roof. Imagine an armed stranger entering your home and forcibly removing you from your bed, zip-tying your hands, separating you from your family, and detaining you in a dark van for hours. This didn't happen in some faraway authoritarian regime. It happened right here in Chicago, right here in the United States of America. The reports of excessive use of force against children is unconscionable. And the way many innocent residents who lived in the building were treated is appalling. In response, I've directed the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services and the Illinois Department of Human Services to provide support and to evaluate the treatment of the children who were traumatized.
I mean, words cannot describe how, if that doesn't just infuriate you to your core, understanding what happened in that Chicago apartment building with cameras, hey, look, we're taking over Chicago. The federal government is here. ICE is here. 2 a.m. at an apartment complex, and hearing what happened to children, what happened to individuals who, families who were just there sleeping, to be woken up like that. And I want to be clear, so many of them, it doesn't matter in this instance if you're a U.S. citizen or not, but so many of them U.S. citizens saying, what the fuck is going on? Excuse my language. And I think James Talarico puts all of this into perspective so well. Take a listen.
Mention abortion or gay marriage, but it goes on and on about forgiving debt, liberating the poor, and healing the sick. Christian nationalists like to say this is a Christian nation. Not only is that historically inaccurate, not only is that theologically blasphemous, but it's also just not true. Look around us. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would forgive student debt. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would guarantee health care to every single person. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would love all of our LGBTQ neighbors. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would make sure every child in this state and in this country was housed, fed, clothed, educated, and insured. If this was truly a Christian nation, we would never make it a Christian nation, because we know the table of fellowship is open to everybody, including our Buddhist, Hindu, Jewish, Muslim, Sikh, and atheist neighbors. Jesus could have started a Christian theocracy, but love would never do that. The closest thing we have to the kingdom of heaven is a multiracial, multicultural democracy where power is truly shared among all people, something that's yet to exist in human history.
I think that is so well said by James Talarico. And it's so refreshing to see a Democrat like James Talarico use his voice and really blow up. People are resonating with that type of stuff, and understandably so, especially religious individuals who feel like, Donald Trump and all these Christian nationalists are obviously not doing anything that is even close to the Word of God, right? Donald Trump is constantly scamming people and selling Bibles and assaulting women and the fraud and the corruption. I think you get the point. Regardless, it's really good to see Democrats standing up and to see fresh faces in the party. We can get through this together, one day at a time. We're just going to fight together. And I myself am in Chicago. So if you want to, stay informed with what's going on, but also potentially see me, on the streets covering protesting myself, maybe I'll live stream some of that. I know a lot of you are here from Adam Mockler's channel. Make sure you hit like and subscribe down below. It goes a long way, and I will keep you guys updated. Keep fighting one day at a time. Hope you have a great start to your week, and I'll see you in the next video.